All right, let's dive in. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Today we're going deep on something that might sound, well, maybe not the most exciting at first glance.
Uh-oh, what is it?
We're talking fiber.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, but not just any fiber. We're breaking down the differences between soluble and insoluble fiber, why you need both, and the best part. We'll uncover some easy ways to sneak more of it into your diet. Trust me, it's way more fascinating than you think.
I'm ready to get fibers.
Great. So our source material for this deep dive is a blog post from kianmeng.org, Notes on Dieting, Part 50, Comparison of Soluble and Insoluble Fiber, published just a couple days ago on February 10th, 2025. Now, what's interesting is the author, who goes by Ang, actually used an AI chatbot, Gemini, to help put together a comparison table.
Oh, that's cool. Using AI for that.
Yeah.
Pretty innovative. I mean, AI can be super helpful for gathering information quickly,
Yeah.
but like the author mentions, it's always good practice to double-check those AI-generated details, right?
Oh, absolutely. Always double check. Okay, so let's jump right into this comparison. First up, soluble fiber. The blog post describes it as dissolving in water to form this gel-like substance. I don't know about you, but I'm getting flashbacks to middle school science class right about now.
Oh, totally. It is a bit of a visual, that gel,
Yeah.
but honestly, that gel is the key to many of soluble fiber's benefits. It slows down digestion, and that's a good thing. It helps regulate blood sugar and, prevents those dreaded energy crashes that we all hate.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I've actually been trying to cut down on sugar lately, so maybe I need to up my soluble fiber game. So, question is, where do we even find this magical soluble fiber?
Well, you're in luck because so many delicious foods are actually packed with soluble fiber. Think oats, beans, lentils, even apples and guava are excellent sources.
Okay, so I'm picturing like a breakfast of oatmeal with some berries and maybe a sprinkle of nuts for some extra flavor. That sounds pretty doable.
It does.
Now, let's switch gears to insoluble fiber. This one, according to the post, it adds bulk to stool, which, okay, not the most glamorous topic I know, but preventing constipation. Hey, we all know how important regularity is.
Oh, yeah. Definitely not a dinner party conversation starter, but it's so crucial for digestive health. You can think of insoluble fiber as like a broom sweeping things through your system.
Okay, that's a good visual.
And this sweeping action, it also helps with weight management because that feeling of fullness, it can help prevent, overeating.
I never really made that connection between fiber and weight management. That's interesting. So where can we find this insoluble fiber? What foods?
Think whole grains, nuts, seeds, veggies like broccoli and cauliflower. And here's a fun fact. The author actually suggests like a super easy swap. Instead of white rice, go for brown rice. It's a small change, but it can make a big difference.
Yeah. I've been meaning to try brown rice more often. And you know what? I'm always looking for ways to sneak more veggies into my meals, so I'm definitely going to try that. Speaking of, the author emphasizes something really important too. It's about staying hydrated. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water when you increase your fiber intake. Water just helps everything move smoothly and prevents, that uncomfortable feeling of being bloated.
Okay, good reminder. I am definitely guilty of not drinking enough water sometimes.
Mhm.
So we've got a good overview, right? Soluble and insoluble fiber, their benefits, even some specific food suggestions. But here's a question I've been thinking about.
Oh, I love questions. Hit me with it.
All right, so you know how some people just seem to have like effortless digestion, while others, they might struggle with bloating or constipation.
Yeah.
Could our own individual gut bacteria play a role in how we process fiber?
You know what? That's such a great question. It's something researchers are still really digging into. There's growing evidence suggesting that our gut microbiome, so that's basically the community of bacteria living in our intestines, it influences how we actually digest and utilize fiber. That's so fascinating. So even though we're talking about these two broad categories, soluble and insoluble, the way our bodies interact with them could be way more complex than we realize.
Exactly. It's definitely not a one-size-fits-all situation. There's a lot of individual variation. What works well for one person might not be the best for another.
Yeah, that's a good reminder. Paying attention to our own bodies and how they respond to different foods, it's just as important as, following those general guidelines.
Totally agree.
Cool.
Self-awareness is key. And speaking of individual experiences, the author actually shares a really interesting anecdote about his own fiber journey. Apparently, he used to struggle with frequent constipation.
Oh, no, that's never fun. So what did he do?
Well, he decided to really up his fiber intake,
Mhm.
right? Like a conscious effort. He incorporated more fruits, veggies, whole grains. But here's the thing. He noticed that certain high fiber foods, like beans, They actually made his digestion worse.
Really? That seems like counterintuitive.
Right. You'd think more fiber, better digestion, but it's not always that simple.
So what did he do? Just give up on beans altogether?
He did initially, but then he realized his body seemed to handle lentils a lot better than other types of beans.
Interesting.
So he started experimenting with different types of lentils and eventually found a variety that didn't cause him any digestive discomfort.
That's a great example of listening to your body, making adjustments, because it's not about following some rigid set of rules. It's about finding what works for you.
Absolutely. And it just shows that even within a category like fiber, there can be so much variation in how different foods affect our bodies.
Right. So you've got these two main types, soluble and insoluble, but it sounds like there's this whole other layer of complexity when it comes to our own individual gut bacteria processing these fibers.
Yeah, it's like a whole ecosystem down there. And we're only just beginning to understand those intricate interactions between fiber, gut bacteria, and, our overall health.
It's really making me rethink my whole approach to fiber. It's not just about hitting a certain number of grams each day. It's about understanding the nuances and what works best for me.
Exactly. And that is a perfect segue into the next part of our deep dive, where we'll actually explore some practical tips for incorporating more fiber into your diet in a way that's, enjoyable and sustainable.
Ooh, can't wait. Okay, so we've established fiber is essential. Not as simple as it seems, but how do we actually put all this knowledge into practice? I feel like sometimes, healthy eating advice can be a bit preachy.
Oh, I totally agree. No one wants a lecture about every bite they take. It's all about finding that balance, right?
Exactly. So let's talk strategy. The author, Ang, suggests starting small with easy food swaps. Like, for example, instead of white rice, reach for brown rice.
Oh, classic swap.
Yeah.
And it works. Brown rice, it's got more fiber, more nutrients overall, plus it's got that nice nutty flavor. Adds a little variety to your meals.
I'm a big fan of quinoa, too. It's got a good amount of fiber, cooks up really quickly.
Quinoa is fantastic. Complete protein, all 9 essential amino acids. And bonus, gluten-free, so it's a great option for people with celiac or gluten sensitivity.
See, this is what I love. Practical tips that don't feel restrictive. What are some other easy swaps we can make?
Well, the author also mentions incorporating oats into breakfast, which, we talked about a little earlier. But here's a tip. Instead of those instant oatmeal packets, try making your own with rolled oats. You control the sugar, you can add your own toppings, fruit, nuts, even a little drizzle of honey.
Ooh, that does sound way more delicious than those pre-flavored packets.
Yeah.
And speaking of fruit, Ang specifically recommends guava and apples.
Yes, guava is a powerhouse of soluble fiber, and it's got this unique tropical flavor. Apples, they're a good source of both types of fiber, soluble and insoluble. And they're just super versatile, right? You can eat them raw, bake them into pies, toss them in salads for some extra sweetness and crunch.
I'm sensing a theme here. It's not just about eating more fiber, it's about enjoying what you eat.
Absolutely. That's the key. If you don't like it, you're not going to stick with it no matter how healthy it is.
So true. So, okay, let's say we've mastered those food swaps. What about those times, though, when we're craving something a little more indulgent? Like dessert or a cheesy pizza night.
Hey, there's always room for indulgences. Remember, healthy diet, it's all about balance, not deprivation.
Right. But doesn't that, defeat the purpose of increasing fiber intake? If you're having pizza and cake, won't that cancel out all the good stuff?
Not necessarily. It's all about making conscious choices. So if you're going to have, a higher calorie meal, maybe you choose a salad for lunch or you make sure to load up on veggies with dinner. It's about finding ways to incorporate fiber throughout the day, even if you're not, being perfectly healthy at every single meal.
Got it. So it's like damage control, but in a good way.
Exactly. You can still enjoy those treats, but by being mindful of your overall fiber intake, you can, mitigate some of the potential downsides.
Okay, I'm feeling much better about this whole fiber thing. It doesn't feel like a chore, or a restriction. It's more like a puzzle you're trying to solve.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
It is about finding those pieces that fit your lifestyle and your preferences. And sometimes it takes a little trial and error to find that right combination.
Speaking of trial and error, the author mentions, initially he struggled with some high fiber foods, cause like bloating and discomfort. That's something I've experienced too, actually.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty common, especially when people try to increase their fiber intake too quickly. The key is to start gradually. Give your body time to adjust.
So don't go from 0 to 60 overnight.
Exactly. Start by adding, just a few grams of fiber per day and see how you feel. And
Yeah.
remember, hydration, hydration, hydration.
Mhm.
So important for helping that fiber move through your system smoothly.
Okay, hydration is key, but let's be real. Sometimes, even with the best intentions, life gets in the way. What are some strategies for getting that fiber in when you're busy or on the go?
That's a great question. Because let's face it, we're not always sitting down to a perfectly balanced meal, right?
Yeah.
One tip is to keep portable, fiber-rich snacks on hand. Things like, nuts, seeds, dried fruit. Even those little individual packs of oatmeal can be a lifesaver.
I was also thinking about those pre-cut veggie trays. You get them at the grocery store. Super convenient for a quick snack or like throw in your lunch bag.
Those are perfect. And don't underestimate the power of smoothies. You can blend in a handful of spinach or kale and you won't even taste it.
Ooh, sneaky way to get those greens in. I'm realizing fiber really is everywhere once you start looking for it.
It is. And as you become more aware of its importance, you'll naturally start making those choices that support your fiber goals.
Mm.
It becomes less about following a strict diet and more about a shift in mindset.
Okay, so we've got food swaps, mindful indulgences, practical tips for busy days. We're basically fiber ninjas now. But I do have one more question.
All ears.
So, you know how there's always like a new diet fad or superfood being promoted? It can be so overwhelming to keep up with all the latest trends.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The world of nutrition can feel like a minefield, right?
Okay.
Like one minute something is good for you, the next minute it's demonized. It's hard to know what to believe.
Exactly. So how do we stay grounded and make informed choices about fiber without getting swept up in all the hype?
That's where critical thinking is so important. Don't believe everything you read or hear, especially from sources that are, trying to sell you something. Stick to reputable health organizations like the American Heart Association or the Mayo Clinic for, that evidence-based information.
Okay, good advice. And what about like those fiber supplements that are advertised everywhere? Are they worth it?
It's always best to get your fiber from whole foods whenever possible. Supplements can be helpful in certain situations, but they shouldn't be like a replacement for a healthy diet.
Right. It's about addressing the root cause, not just masking the symptoms.
Exactly. If you're like really struggling to meet your fiber needs through diet alone, talk to your doctor or a registered dietitian. They can help you figure out if supplements are right for you and guide you toward those, safe and effective options.
Okay, that makes sense. So we've learned how to make fiber part of our daily routine, even when life gets crazy busy. But why are we going to all this trouble? What are the long-term benefits of prioritizing fiber? That's what we'll uncover in the final part of our deep dive.
Welcome back to our fiber adventure. We've covered a lot of ground, haven't we? From the different types of fiber to actually, sneaking more into our diets. But now it's time for the big question. Why should we even care?
Yeah, what's the payoff for all this effort? Well, I'm here to tell you. Benefits, they go way beyond just, regular bowel movements.
Okay, I like where this is going. Let's talk long-term impact.
Yeah.
All right, let's start with something I think everybody cares about, heart health. Remember that gel-like substance the soluble fiber forms?
Mhm.
Well, it actually acts like a magnet for cholesterol, helps lower those bad LDL levels, reduces the risk of heart disease.
So, eating a bowl of oatmeal, not just a delicious breakfast, it's an act of self-care for my heart. I can get behind that.
Exactly. And the benefits don't stop there. Fiber is also crucial for managing blood sugar levels. Slows down digestion, prevents those, rapid spikes in blood sugar that can lead to energy crashes, and over time, increase the risk of type 2 diabetes.
That makes a lot of sense. So it's like fiber is like a bodyguard for our blood sugar levels, keeping things nice and stable.
Very good analogy.
Mm.
And speaking of balance, did you know fiber can even help with weight management?
Really? I always thought it was just about digestion.
It's a common misconception. See, fiber adds bulk to our food, which helps us feel fuller for longer, prevents overeating. Plus, it supports a healthy gut microbiome and, those beneficial bacteria. They play a surprising role in regulating our metabolism and weight.
Wow, fiber's like a triple threat. Good for our hearts, our blood sugar, and even helps us maintain a healthy weight. I'm starting to see why this is such a big deal.
And we're not even done yet. Remember how insoluble fiber keeps things moving, right, through our digestive system? Well, that regularity, it's not just about comfort. It's about significantly reducing the risk of colon cancer.
Okay, now we're talking serious benefits. So fiber is like a guardian of our digestive health, protecting us from some pretty scary stuff.
Exactly. And on top of all that, a high fiber diet, it can help prevent other digestive issues like diverticulitis. That's inflammation of the digestive tract.
It's kind of mind-blowing. We started with like a simple blog post comparing these two types of fiber. Now we're talking about, preventing major health
It
problems.
really is amazing how powerful simple dietary changes can be. Fiber isn't a magic bullet, of course, but it's definitely like a foundational element of a healthy lifestyle.
Right. It's like that saying, you are what you eat. Easy to dismiss as cliche, but when you see all these long-term benefits, it really makes you think.
It does. And I think that's a key takeaway from this whole deep dive. Instead of viewing fiber as just, another dietary requirement, we need to start seeing it as an investment in our long-term health and well-being.
Yeah, it's like we're weaving this tapestry of well-being, one fiber-filled bite at a time.
I love that. And remember, it's not about perfection, it's about progress. Every small change you make, every fiber-rich food you choose, it adds up over time.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of fiber, we're leaving you with this challenge. How can you make fiber a more conscious part of your everyday life?
Think beyond just specific foods and
Mhm.
consider that bigger picture. How can you use this knowledge to make smarter choices, whether you're at a restaurant, the grocery store, even when you're, faced with those tempting treats?
Because ultimately, it's not just about fiber, is it? It's about empowering ourselves to take control of our health and well-being. And who knows, maybe this deep dive has sparked a newfound appreciation for that, humble yet mighty fiber.